want to be safe. We all want to be warm. We all want to feel loved, know the comfort of home. Want our children to grow, learn to make their own sound. Seems to me we all walk on common ground. Common ground. Common ground.
We all walk on common ground.
Common ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that the singer of that song, Judy Cass, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
Cass, and her colleagues, we always show their names at the very end when we play the song in its entirety, and it's a beautiful song. She was at the Grammy Awards.
Yes.
With her daughter. And isn't that wonderful? Isn't that cool? Isn't that great?
Yeah.
The apple obviously did not fall far from the tree.
No, not at all.
And we're very happy for her. We're very happy for her daughter, who is one of those who were nominated. And it was a wonderful event. And how do you like that? How do you like that?
That's exciting. I saw the posting of that, and she and her daughter were both in, the outfits. They were both dressed to the nines because they were walking the red carpet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was great.
And they looked marvelous. That's all I can say.
Yes, they did.
They looked absolutely stunning. But it must have been such an exciting night. Wow. And
sure.
when you go to one of those things, I had one opportunity one time to go to Paul McCartney's former wife raised a great deal of money for mines to try to demine battlefields and things like that. Very worthy cause. And so I got involved in different ways. And so I was invited to I think it's in Beverly Hills, it's some probably the same hotel or something like it. No, it was smaller than the one that does the Grammys. But anyway, you go there and all of a sudden you're surrounded by luminaries, stars, big people. And there's Paul McCartney, about 18 feet away on a stage playing and singing. And I'm saying to myself, and here was the painful thing. Of course, you're definitely not allowed to take pictures at events like these or ask for autographs. And I understand that. They want to,
sure.
They're there for a purpose. But I just kept saying to myself, nobody's ever going to believe this. Nobody. Sitting behind me.
I don't believe it, Joe. Joe, I do not believe it.
Well, then let me give you more not to believe. Sitting behind me, about 20 feet behind me I still remember to the right because I kept looking over my shoulder at him, was Jack Nicholson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's sitting right there with his sunglasses on in an evening. And, it was crazy. It was just a lot of really cool people. So that was my moment of rubbing elbows with fame there.
Brush with fame.
But
that's great.
But that was great. But she got there on her talent and her daughter's talent, because that's where the daughter's talent, that's where it comes from. Your parents, they're your primary influence. Well, this is a big day. We're kind of excited about what's happening right now, because just a little bit of justice is peeking through. Just spreading the curtains out just a little bit and saying hi.
Yep.
Donald Trump, according to a Supreme Court, a federal Supreme Court, which he first appealed to, is not immune to prosecution, meaning he is not above the law. It's a 57-page decision, very well written, very thorough, very emphatic. They even refer to, if convicted for the crimes that he committed, and they actually refer to what he's being tried for. I cannot see how the Supreme Court could possibly overturn this. I do think that they might want to put their stamp on it because it's groundbreaking. This is history. but I can't see how they would turn it over, and nor should they, of course. Nobody in their right mind would think that for some reason a president who is responsible for making sure that everybody follows the Constitution and obeys the law is somehow himself not required to do so. Your thoughts?
But you know, Joe, I got up this morning and I heard the news too. Not this morning. Kat texted me with it, and the first thing that came to mind is he will appeal and he'll try to bring this right off to the Supreme Court, the federal Supreme Court. We know that. Here's the dilemma. And once again, he's great at doing this. He's great at mixing in with the works. Here's the dilemma that he is now throwing our Supreme Court into. If they hear the case and overrule the state Supreme Court, they've done something that the Republican Party has been arguing against for well over 100 years. And that is they argue for subsidiarity, local rule whenever possible. They argue for the authority of their own state Supreme Courts. They argue for the federal court to stay out of individual states' business. It's one of the arguments that was originally behind the argument against Roe v. Wade.
That's right.
So if he does this and they actually overrule a state Supreme Court, it throws a monkey in the works because it means that the state Supreme Courts are relatively meaningless according to the authority from on high. So it creates a ironclad form of federalism that's suddenly too great. On the other hand, if they take the case and they allow for the Supreme Court's decision, the state Supreme Court's decision, and they agree to it, if they do that, they've done this other thing in which they've acknowledged state Supreme Courts can make decisions that cannot in any way have any relationship to federal Supreme Court compliance. And what that means is now we have this tenacious relationship between what is state, what is feds. Not that we didn't have it before, but there are going to be issues, and this is one of them, and Roe v. Wade is certainly another one, where that conflict will suddenly be taken on anew. Does that mean, for example, that the states that have progressive agenda for women's health care and abortion rights can choose to, in fact, defy if the federal Supreme Court decides to ban abortion? Does that mean that they have the leverage to do this? It mixes up the works and creates new forms of internal conflict.
You make an incredibly good point here, and I think what we could label all of this with is constitutional crisis, one after another, and in as much as it's important that we get this all figured out, because if our founders may never have imagined this level of corruption in government, but it's going to continue. This isn't the last time this will happen. It will happen again. We may rid ourselves of Trump. I think in my heart of hearts, I think that we will rid ourselves of Trump, but we will not rid ourselves of Trumpism and the corruption that brought him here. Not for a long, long time. So
it's here to stay. It's here to stay.
Yeah, it's definitely important that they weigh in on these things. The one thing, though, that people should keep in mind, while we're all, frustrated, he's collected the latest haul, they say, is $50 million from his supporters. $365,000 of that $50 million went to his wife's clothing, her styling, okay? A little over $100,000 went to doing her hair, although I'm sure some of that went to doing his hair. I'm not sure, but more than likely. I think
his hair bill was a little higher.
That's probably, yeah. He's probably more around $250,000 to do his hair. But,
right.
What we've got going here is a grifting, a bilking of the body politic, the likes of which has never existed in history.
But you've used the phrase constitutional crisis. If we start adding them up, we are reeling toward a necessary call for a constitutional convention.
Yeah.
Without
a doubt.
Which, oddly enough, both sides might be willing to participate in to try to straighten this out if it goes any further down this dark alley. Let me change the subject over to the thing I wanted to talk about, so we have time for it.
Yep.
Do you mind?
No, please do. Please do.
My wife, Kat, suggested I do a little homework on Taylor Swift because she felt this was important. And I do, now that I've done a little research, I do really think it's important. This comes from an article that was in Politico, and it was online, the first part of this, and then it's my comments after that. MAGA world is about to meet Taylor Swift's fandom. It won't go well. The article is written by Catherine Kim, and she quotes a scholar in here, so I'll just read a little bit of this. To explore how Swift's influence has grown and how attacks could backfire on the GOP, Politico magazine reached out to Brian Donovan. He's a professor at the University of Kansas who teaches, now catch this, a popular college course called The Sociology of Taylor Swift. I love it. Okay, so there are 3 quotes from him. The first one is, the Swiftie fan is arguably the most immersive and intense fandom in the US right now. And to anger them is just political folly. They are a political force that I don't think anyone really should mess with. Okay. Next quote.
Agreed.
The intensity, yes, isn't it great? The intensity is coming from different levels. Again, it's, as he puts it, basic sexism. She is unmarried. She is an extremely successful businesswoman. And I know that a lot of folks on the right probably do not aspire to be a pop star, but a lot of them aspire to be successful in business. And she has lapped them over and over and over again. She has become a billionaire based on her own ability, her own artistry. And so there's a jealousy factor here as well. And the last quote, another part of this is that she is not easily consumable as a sex symbol. What makes Taylor Swift so unique is that her celebrity persona, unlike pop stars in the past few decades, think Madonna, Britney Spears, and so forth, she is not centered on the male gaze. She's not denying or muting her sexuality, but her performances are not catering to men. Her persona is crafted around this kind of goofy, almost nerd-like relatability. And I think that she is also irksome because she is not playing out the standard patriarchal playbook of being a consumable Barbie doll sex symbol.
And that's what I love about her. She's a formidable woman, a formidable woman, like so many others that I know. And God damn it, isn't that just great? I love the fact that these guys, these old white men, are going to finally have to start dealing with the real power in this country, and that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, and on the other side of it, real quickly, let me just say that you know, just that we are having this conversation, that the former leader of the free world is all upset because, you know, she's got bigger crowds than I do. You know, I just, there's something.
I heard he was mad about that.
Oh my God. Ay.
Well, you know, I had another quote here, but while you're talking about that, I did a lot of reading 2 nights ago on Taylor Swift and on what's going on. And one of the general senses that I was getting out of the people commenting on her is that she, in all likelihood, will not publicly endorse Biden. She will just endorse getting registered. And if you look at her fandom, and if you look at the people that support the music, and you look at the themes of her songs like Anti-Hero, the more recent release, you get the sense that her fandom isn't going down the MAGA road at all, particularly because it celebrates mature womanhood. It celebrates the reality and sensibility of womanhood, which is not where MAGA is going. So if you put that together and just let that sink in a little bit, and then think about what it is that she's doing, you come to this realization that there is an opportunity here for young women, primarily white women. Let's be honest about her fan base, primarily white women, but their registration numbers are going through the ceiling. They're amazing what's happening because she's just encouraging them to do this. Now, if she were to endorse Biden, remember, I saw over the holidays, I saw one of her concerts on television, and they're huge. They're huge. I think she won't directly endorse Biden because of the fear factor. There are crazies out there that want to do damage to people that they consider unloyal to Trump. And she's got this massive, mega crowd out there. I wouldn't, in my heart, I wouldn't want her to directly endorse Biden and put herself in danger. I think what she's doing as it is great. She's not telling anybody to vote one side or the other. She's saying go and vote and participate. And then from there, you can figure out, get a sense of her themes and her sensibilities, where they may, in all likelihood, all go. But that's an important factor. Joe, we've never had a time, as best as I know, and I'm a pretty good historian here, where people who wanted to endorse publicly a candidate for the presidency, I mean people who are public figures, feared for their life, knew damn well the threats were out there. We're getting them every day, and we know that's happening. Just read Romney's book, Mitt Romney's new book.
Yep.
They're getting threats all the time. And I know there are, in all likelihood, very good Republicans who have buckled under to the fear factor, not just for themselves, but for their families, their extended families, and so forth. Threats are, according to the FBI reports, threats are a daily, if not hourly, factor. What is this all about? Why have we opened the door to this monster? And to me, without getting too crazy here, the monster is MAGA. It is justifying a ruthless and violent tendency. So I love Taylor, and I don't want her to risk this. I think what she's doing now is just fine.
I'm with you all the way. I am absolutely with you when you call MAGA the monster, because it really and truly is becoming a monster. Nikki Haley just had to call for sharply increased security, bodyguard security, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She was, what do they call it now? Where they send police and everything else to your house and fire department, and I think they call it at any rate, swatting. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, I had a brain fade there for a minute, but
it's okay.
She's been swatted now.
You weren't swatted.
She's been swatted now twice.
Yes.
And
garbage.
Adam
garbage.
Kinzinger was swatted way back in 2011, and he talks about the very real and present danger of that practice, because
Liz Cheney too.
Right. It's shocking. Somebody steps out on the lawn. What's going on? All of a sudden, the wrong person gets shot because they look like they might be holding a gun or something like that. It is a very highly dangerous thing. And of course, you're pulling the resources that are there to protect the citizenry away from their jobs under false pretenses. So you've got that situation going on. Just there's last three things I'd like to say about this. So Nikki Haley has to hire on, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of additional security. All of this subterfuge with Trump is costing the taxpayer millions and millions and millions, if not billions of dollars. All these court hearings, the security that we have to surround Jack Smith with and all of his prosecutors, judges, it goes on and on. This man is a criminal, and he is calling the most violent and the most dangerous people to action, and we must stop him.
Yeah.
Two last things.
Wanted to add this while we're talking. Celebrity endorsements aren't new. I think you saw some of the notes I sent you.
Yes.
Sinatra was endorsed famously FDR, and then 20 years later he endorsed famously JFK. Yep. So collecting celebrity endorsements are nothing new, but more of them come in as we go further into the entertainment world that we all live in. Obama's biggest endorsement was Oprah. And so such things are nothing new. The piece that to me is new, and this is what I love about this, is the youth element of it. Because you and I know we get discouraged sometimes, especially I'm a college professor. I'm at Ramapo. I'm talking to undergrads, and I feel they're discouraged. And to have somebody like Taylor encouraging them to register, and then to see the numbers are just going, like I said before, through the ceiling. This is really electric to me. That this is. My last note here was, so what does it mean when a positive role model from the entertainment industry drives voter registration and by means of endorsement potentially influences policy? It means participatory democracy is working.
Amen.
It's working. It's yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just
No, that's very, very important point, and it's a great place to wrap up right now. Last thing I would say is, a couple of nights ago, or was it last night, at the Grammy Awards, Taylor Swift cleaned up, which is the entertainment and the fan world saying, we're with you, and we believe in you, and of course she makes wonderful music too. Now, she doesn't need the money, but I just went out and I bought my first Taylor Swift album. First one I ever bought, and by God, I'm gonna spread it around. I'm gonna send albums to everybody I know just to let her know.
I guess you and I are Swifties now, huh?
I'm a Swiftie. I'm officially a Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie. All right. Last thing I would say, I'll bet you that more people watch the Super Bowl coming up. I'll bet you more people watch it than any time in history, just to let the world know where our heads are really at and what we really believe in. You know, listen, just closing, Joe Biden just made a very powerful speech about the border bill and about the importance of America's role in supporting Ukraine and Israel. And if the Republicans, the MAGA Republicans, the MAGA monster stops this bill, which is the strongest border bill ever signed, far stronger than anything Donald Trump was wanting to sign.
That's right.
Then we know who's at fault. And there are people's lives at stake here, people who are suffering, and we have an answer now. Let's get this thing done. All right?
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed.
Folks, thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
We all want to be safe. We all want to be warm. We all want to feel loved, know the comfort of home. Want our children to grow, learn to make their own sound. Seems to me we all walk on common ground. Common ground, common ground. We all walk on common ground.
We all wanna be strong, fully free and alive. Take just enough chances, stand up tall and with pride. Yes, we all wanna play, have good friends all around. It seems to me we all walk on common ground. Common ground, common ground. We all walk
on common ground. Some conversations aren't easy, and we wonder how we'll turn this mess around. But if we realize and seek to compromise,
under one moon, lift our face to one sun, feel the wetness of rain, seek shelter, everyone. Yearn for rest when we're weary, seek solace when we're down. It seems to me we all walk on common ground.
Some conversations aren't easy,
and we wonder how we'll turn this mess around.
But if we realize and seek to compromise, we can meet on common ground. Common ground. We all walk on common ground. Common ground. Common ground. We all walk. I know that we all walk 1 foot forward. We all walk on common ground.